Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And the haze and smoke returned somewhat today. We did see some hazy skies. We're still seeing that right now as we look down at the George Seller Bridge, and a fairly busy time of day, of course, with the pedestrian footbridge behind that. But we do have some improvement in our air and our weather conditions as we move a little bit farther ahead in our forecast. The National Weather Service released their 8 to 14 day outlook, and it looks like it's going to be wetter here in the Pacific Northwest as well as cooler as we move ahead in our forecast, and we will explain a lot more about that coming up a little bit later on in our weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A sex offender is sentenced for 5 years after failing to register. An accident on I-90 blocks eastbound lanes for 2 hours on Sunday, and we'll have the 9/11 memorial ceremony in Kashmir. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our feature story today. But first, an update on fires burning around north central Washington. The Jolly Mountain Fire, located 11 miles northwest of Cle Elum, continues to burn in the Cle Elum Ranger District of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, near land managed by the Department of Natural Resources. Rick Isaacson with the Chelan County Fire District 1 says structure protection and backburning is the plan of attack today.
This morning's briefing, we got information that we are at 29,423 acres. We are 15% contained. That's up 5% from yesterday. We have 821 souls on the fire as fire line or support. We have 77 engines, 17 hand crews, and 5 helicopters working, plus several fixed wing that are in the air. We're trying to clean up some areas. Specifically, we're working hard on the northwest corner of the fire, up around Salmon-La-Sac, trying to get what they call a hook. So they'll go north and then turn east. They're using the ping pong balls, where they shoot those out of the aircraft and they start backfire that way, up in the more rugged terrain. And they try to get it laid down on the ridges so that the fire can back down slowly into the vegetation and burn those areas out.
Isaacson says evacuation levels in the Teanaway area will be reduced on Tuesday from level 3 down to a level 2, and evacuation levels near Salmon-La-Sac will also be downgraded from level 3 to level 2 on Wednesday. The perimeter of the fire is 15% contained. The Jack Creek Fire is burning 15 miles southwest of Leavenworth in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, located entirely within the Alpine Lakes Wilderness. Even though low humidities and warm temperatures have increased Jack fire activity, Rick Isaacson says it continues to be classified as a monitored fire.
Monitored fire, so they are not aggressively fighting that fire. It's not a suppression type fire, and it's in the wilderness, and so it's burning, and people see smoke out of Leavenworth and so forth. It's at 2,732 acres, 0% containment.
Meanwhile, one of the state's largest fires is the Norse Peak Fire, burning the Natchez Ranger District. That's between State Route 410 and Bumping Lake. The blaze has consumed just under 50,000 acres and is burning in steep, rocky terrain, which is making access difficult. Isaacson says fire activity increased over the weekend and structure protection remains a high priority.
It is 12% contained. They have 603 souls on their fire, 13 hand crews, 36 engines, 4 helicopters, and 3 bulldozers and 10 water tenders. Crystal Mountain and Gold Hill area fire continue to slowly creep towards structures, but firefighters are in place and on patrol looking for spot fires in problematic areas, clearing houses. So we do that. We go in there and clear things out.
The Norse Peak Fire has crossed the Pacific Crest Trail into Pierce County, and residents in the area are currently at a level 3 evacuation. After failing to register as a sex offender, a Wenatchee man was sentenced to 5 years in prison after an assault conviction in Douglas County. According to the Wenatchee World, Daniel Herrera Gonzalez pleaded guilty to third-degree assault with sexual motivation and failing to register. This was his third conviction for sexually assaulting children. Gonzalez was already serving a 3-year community custody probation on his Douglas County assault conviction when he evaded Department of Corrections supervisors in May of 2016. He was located by U.S. Marshals and arrested in Wellpinit last November. A one-vehicle accident near Ellensburg yesterday closed down the eastbound lane of I-90 for nearly 2 hours. Washington State Patrol says 68-year-old Lawrence Evoy of Olympia was traveling east on I-90 when apparently a tire on his 1997 Ford Econoline van separated and the vehicle lost control. The van then left the roadway. The driver overcorrected and the van rolled, coming to rest on its top. State Patrol also says Evoy was wearing his seatbelt but did sustain some minor injuries. No charges have been filed and the official cause of the accident is still under investigation. The Port of Chelan County Board of Commissioners will host 3 public meetings this week to present the Port's draft strategic plan, inviting the public to help with the review process. On Wednesday, the commissioners will host the meeting at noon at the Chelan City Hall and at 5 p.m. at Pybus Market in Wenatchee. A meeting will also be held at Leavenworth City Hall on Thursday at noon. Coming up, the old Jones & Jones Funeral Home in Wenatchee is coming back to life, and our nation remembers a tragic event. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
No matter what your age or ailment, when you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, life has meaning and joy.
Just wait a while, it'll get in the hole somewhere.
Helping you do this is our purpose. Highgate Senior Living, each day to the fullest.
The best thing about my life right now is
me.
Today, 16 years ago, was a somber day for our country and the entire world. Terrorist acts in New York City, Washington, D.C., and rural Pennsylvania changed our lives forever. NCW Life's Megan McPherson was in Kashmir earlier today for the 9/11 ceremony.
We won it from the Spirit of America Foundation, which after we built it, they were impressed enough that they actually gave us their foundation. So now we have that foundation. But originally, and you'll hear more about this during the ceremony, but the memorial was taken all around Eastern Washington. And the memorial are the 4 statues and the piece of the Pentagon and the piece of the World Trade Center that are displayed here. So a gentleman took them all over Eastern Washington, many parades and so forth. And anyway, we were one of the final 4, and then we became one of the final 3 cities, including Wenatchee. And ultimately we won it, and we think it's because, and we were told, because the values that Kashmir displayed to that group that made the decision to give us the memorial fit what they were after. And so that's the bottom line. So that's why we won it.
In December 2001, Congress designated 11 September of each year as Patriot Day, and subsequently in April 2009, the Congress requested the observance of 11 September as an annually recognized National Day of Service and Remembrance. On this day, it is directed to fly the flag of the United States at half-mast.
What this represents is astonishing to me. It's what every community should be. And I salute Kashmir and the surrounding area, everybody that's put this together.
The purpose of this memorial is to perpetuate the future generations the patriotism and unity that we experienced 16 years ago.
The Spirit of America Award presented to David Lewis for distinguished leadership and patriotism by demonstrating exemplary service as President and CEO of the Spirit of America Foundation, by personally educating thousands about the tragic events of 9/11 and inspiring everyone he met to never forget the lives lost on that fateful day, and also to understand the memorial's broader significance for our country and in turn the world. Given in Cashier, Washington by the Spirit of America Foundation Board of Directors during our annual ceremony on September 11th, 2017.
Like our 4 representatives that represent everything that our country stands for, we look to the future with hope, strength, determination, and faith, and thank a gracious and loving God above for the wonderful freedom that this country so enjoys. Thank you very much.
When 9/11 happened, I was actually in high school. I was a junior in high school here in Leavenworth, and was getting up to get on the school bus to go to school. So, believe it or not, it was quite an interesting story. It's something that got me into the fire service. So a year later, I joined up on the fire department as a result of the catastrophe on 9/11. So.
I was working for the state of Alaska, and I was on Prince of Wales Island in the town of Klawock. I was on an inspection trip, and I was supposed to meet one of the school district representatives to go fly out to some of the remote schools that day to do inspections. Everybody was grounded. It was a pretty solemn day in that sense.
I was in Everett, Washington, getting ready to go to work. I worked for a YMCA over there, and we went into the conference room and watched just in time to see the second plane hit. So it's very somber because of 9/11 and the events of 9/11 and the heroes that died. I chose to become a part of this fire department when I moved out here. So, yeah.
My wife and I were babysitting our 2 grandchildren, where our son and daughter are out of town. One son called and said, "Dad, turn on the TV." And I saw what was happening, and he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, because of my involvement in the World Trade Center building," I said, "that was not an accident." And he said, "Dad, take care of the kids." And we did. A lot of emotion because I was involved in it for so many years. I appreciate what these people have done. You need to remember.
2 local growing tech companies have purchased the 20,000 square foot vacant Jones & Jones funeral home in Wenatchee. Denton Meyer, Corey Corfiatis, and Jeff Weber, owners of sister tech companies Firefly and Legwork, bought the 111-year-old building for $435,000. The building has been vacant for 8 years and offers 4 levels of space, which will be used to house offices for executives and designers, workrooms for technicians, computer rooms, and storage space. The giant structure was originally built in 1906 by fruit magnate Conrad Rose and was purchased in 1924 by Jones & Jones. The building is currently listed on the Wenatchee Register of Historical Places, and the new owners say they will spend upward of $1.6 million on remodel work. The new owners are hoping to occupy the building by December of 2018. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Every golfer aims to play their best, and smart golfers turn to the Golfer's Edge to get the Golfer's Edge. PGA professional Ed Payne has you covered from tee to green. You can work on your swing or play 18 in air-conditioned comfort on the golf simulator. Tanya's Corner has all the apparel the golfer needs at sale prices. And Ed can even rebuild your favorite set of clubs or custom make you a brand new set. Ask how you can qualify for a free 30-minute lesson at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out? We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Cashmere? Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have a full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Monday. Well, let's take a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard from high school football over the weekend. First of all, it was Richland scoring 27 first quarter points en route to a 56-8 pasting of Wenatchee at Franbridge Stadium. Now 0-2, the Panthers will try to get back on the winning track. They'll take on Kelowna, BC, or Boucherrie High School this Friday, and the Apple Bowl will have it live right here on the NCW Life channel. Eastmont improved to 1-1 with an impressive 34-0 shutout to Walla Walla Saturday at Wildcat Stadium. Devin Schneider rushed for 80 yards on 4 attempts and scored on his first carry from scrimmage. Starting quarterback Kalen Massey scored twice on the ground, while running back Jack Knighton added another. Eastmont has a short week as it prepares to play at Mount Spokane Thursday night at 7. Also on the Les Schwab scoreboard from the weekend, Cashmere shut out Sultan 51-0. Cascade stopped Stanfield, Oregon 27-8. Ephrata clobbered Chelan 35-13. Etiat dropped a rough road loss at Sherman County, Oregon 52-0. Waterville was shut out by Soap Lake 46-0. On the rest of the Les Schwab scoreboard for the Preps over the weekend, in soccer, it was Wenatchee topping Archbishop Murphy on the road in Everett 3-0. Cascade blanked Ephrata also 3-0. In volleyball, Cascade picked up a 3-0 win against Charles Wright in Annie Wright, I should say. Chelan also swept Charles Wright in Annie White 3-0. Cashmere fell to Granger 3-0. On the prep calendar for today, well, we had a couple of smokeouts, so they'll make it up tonight, 7 o'clock. Lake Roosevelt at Manson in football. Also in soccer, Liberty Bells at Cashmere, and in volleyball, Pateras hosting Manson. The Wenatchee Wild opened the BCHL hockey season on the road in Merritt over the weekend against the Centennials. And it was A.J. Vanderbeek scoring 2 goals, while Lucas Souter scored a goal and had 2 assists as the Wild won at 5-3. Seth Eisel made 25 saves and goals for Wenatchee, who will travel to Trail on Friday before coming home for their home opener Saturday at the Town Toyota Center. Taking a look at the Les Schwab college football scoreboard for the weekend. Central Washington edged Western Oregon 30-23. North Dakota State surprised Eastern Washington on the red carpet 40-13. Jake Browning passed for 259 yards and a couple of touchdowns, cruising past Montana 63-7. The Cougars rallied from a 21-point deficit to beat Boise State 47-43 in triple overtime. Well, the Seahawks offense struggled. They didn't get any help from the officials, and the defense faded in the second half as Green Bay downed Seattle 17-9 Sunday at Lambeau Field. Russell Wilson was 14 of 27 for 158 yards. He was sacked 3 times. Offensive line struggled keeping an aggressive Packer line out of the Hawks backfield, something that Coach Pete Carroll was surprised about.
I got to see the film, see what happened, but I was surprised they were able to do that. It made it hard for us to get the running game going like we want to, and so it reminds you how you have to do right, and you have to make the plays and not give away things as we gave them the football on the 5-yard line. And in a really tight game against a really good team, that's how it goes. That's how they get their chance to win. That they played a really good, solid football game and took advantage of their ops and did a good job with that. And we know they're a really good club, and we know we can play a lot better.
Seattle's Nas Jones intercepted an Aaron Rodgers pass and returned it for an apparent touchdown, but the play was called back on a clipping penalty and an even more costly unnecessary roughness penalty and ejection of cornerback Jeremy Lane. The officials said he threw a punch, but television replays could show no punch apparent. Carroll addressed that in the postgame press conference.
I didn't see the punch at all, and I'm disappointed that the play would have such magnitude on the game. You guys have seen more of it than I have. I just saw a little thing on the telephone here after the game, and but it's just such a drastic thing to do that I wish that they would have had cooperation from more than one official and just talk about it and figure it out, and because it's such a big call. I'm not talking about even bringing the touchdown back. I'm talking about ejecting the guy. But that's what they saw. One guy saw it, and that's what they went with. And I'm anxious to hear how the league talks. Tells us how that went. What should happen there.
Mariners, meanwhile, took 2 of 3 from L.A. over the weekend there in Texas. With sports, I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. The devastating effects of Hurricane Harvey have reached us all the way up here in north central Washington. On Friday, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society received a truckload of dogs from Texas. Their shelters either lost or evacuated during the recent hurricane. Jay Seebeck has the story.
All right, we're down here at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. I'm joined here by Don Davies and Mr. John Deere here. And you guys have had a lot of dogs coming up from Texas due to Hurricane Harvey. So tell me a little bit about what that's kind of meant for the Humane Society and why that's important, giving these dogs, a safe place to find a new home here in Washington.
So this is not unusual for us to take dogs from Texas, simply because Texas has a limited amount that their animals can stay in their shelters. And because Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is one of the no-kill shelters in the United States, we try to give those animals an opportunity where they can be adopted out and not have to worry about a time limit. But with Hurricane Harvey, the shelters and the rescues in Texas are being inundated right now, as you might imagine. So in the last week, we just brought up 40 dogs like John Deere here. And it was amazing. The first day, they arrived on Friday morning in a big van. Actually, it was a big trailer. Pulled by a 1-ton dually, kind of like you'd expect to see a big horse trailer, but 40 dogs came out of it. And there were 11 people already lined up at the door. Wow. And yeah, so we adopted 30 dogs on Friday and another 21 on Saturday. And obviously those are not all Texas dogs, but overall, I think that the public outpouring here in Wenatchee is that they want to help clear the shelters to make more room.
And so you're expecting with Irma just coming through over, ending yesterday, coming through Florida, that there could be even another surge of dogs coming from that area of the country.
Correct. And some of our partner shelters throughout the United States are already calling and asking for volunteers to come down into the Houston area to help with Texas, because let's not forget about Harvey while Irma is going through. And so because they're in the southeast and Texas is in the south, a lot of the resources are going to be pulled in a lot of different directions to help all these states. And so Washington, it seems a little removed, but we're actually pretty close. So, and it only took them about maybe 20 hours to get here.
Yeah, and so we'll have plenty of dogs like Mr. John Deere here. He seems like a real sweetheart, real calm fellow. So plenty of dogs down here at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, so come on down and check them out. Back to you, Grant.
We'll be back in just a moment with a recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season, and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
And now a recap of some of our top stories. An update first on fires burning around north central Washington. The Jolly Mountain Fire, located 11 miles northwest of Cle Elum, continues to burn in the Cle Elum Ranger District of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest near land managed by the Department of Natural Resources. Rick Isaacson with Chelan County Fire District 1 says structure protection and backburning is the plan of attack today.
This morning's briefing, we got information that we are at 29,423 acres. We are 15% contained. That's up 5% from yesterday. We have 821 souls on the fire as fire line or support. We have 77 engines, 17 hand crews, and 5 helicopters working, plus several fixed wing that are in the air. We're trying to clean up some areas. Specifically, we're working hard on the northwest corner of the fire, up around Salmon La Sac, trying to get what they call a hook. So they'll go north and then turn east. They're using the ping pong balls, where they shoot those out of the aircraft and they start backfire that way, up in the more rugged terrain. And they try to get it laid down on the ridges so that the fire can back down slowly into the vegetation and burn those areas out.
Isaacson says evacuation levels in the Teanaway area will be reduced on Tuesday down from level 3 to level 2, and evacuation levels near Salmon La Sac will also be downgraded from level 3 to level 2 on Wednesday. The perimeter of the fire is 15% contained. The Jack Creek Fire is burning 15 miles southwest of Leavenworth in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, located entirely within the Alpine Lakes Wilderness. Even though low humidities and warm temperatures have increased Jack Creek fire activity, Rick Isaacson says it continues to be classified as a monitored fire.
Monitored fire, so they are not aggressively fighting that fire. It's not a suppression type fire, and it's in the wilderness, and so it's burning, and people see smoke out of Leavenworth and so forth. It's at 2,732 acres, 0% containment.
Meanwhile, one of the state's largest fires is the Norse Peak Fire, burning in the Natchez Ranger District. It's between State Route 410 and Bumping Lake. The blaze has consumed just under 50,000 acres and is burning in steep, rocky terrain, which is difficult making access. Isaacson says fire activity increased over the weekend and structure protection remains a high priority.
It is 12% contained. They have 603 souls on their fire, 13 hand crews, 36 engines, 4 helicopters, and 3 bulldozers and 10 water tenders. Crystal Mountain and Gold Hill area fire continue to slowly creep towards structures, but firefighters are in place and on patrol looking for spot fires in problematic areas, clearing houses. So we do that. We go in there and clear things out.
The Norse Peak Fire has crossed the Pacific Crest Trail into Pierce County, and residents in the area are currently at a level 3 evacuation. And now your weather forecast for north central Washington. Before we get to that, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And really not a bad air situation today. It was moderately good today, although we did see a shroud of haze around our area and some heavier smoke, locally heavy. So we look down at the George Seller Bridge and traffic moving right now in the Wenatchee area. But as we take a look at satellite, it's showing us a weak ridge over the area that is flattening out because of a Gulf of Alaska trough that's beginning to move inland into the Alaska Panhandle and down the British Columbia coast. Over the next 24 to 36 hours, a deep moisture feed you can see on satellite will plow into Vancouver tonight and into the Washington coast during the day tomorrow. This will bring clouds over the Cascades during the day on Tuesday and into Wednesday before the storm system moves our way on Thursday, which will bring us the first good chance of widespread rain that we have seen in months. Models take the upper low to the northern plains by early in the weekend as high pressure briefly builds back up over the Pacific Northwest. The upper ridge amplifying is in response to both the departing low as well as a second, much more powerful low dropping out of the Gulf of Alaska. This next system is what the Climate Prediction Center is keen on in bringing us a great chance of cooler and wetter weather by early next week. Let's take a look at that forecast now. And as we get into tonight, we will see partly cloudy skies, still some haze out there. We'll drop down to 62 for our low temperature. On Tuesday, 86 for our high with sunny skies. We'll drop down to 60. And then look at that cool down. We'll see 79 on Wednesday, 55 our low, 74 without showers as we get into Thursday. That'll be our coolest day. And look at that low, 52 degrees Thursday night. And then we'll stay pretty much in the mid-70s as we hit next weekend. Friday and Saturday look nice, sunshine. And on Sunday, as we end our upcoming weekend, we will see lots of sun and 77 degrees. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or just give us a call, 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.